Here's Stephen A. talking about Anthony Davis and his request.
Anthony Davis, he's big time, and we know how big time he could be if you got another big, so you try to get him another big. However, when it comes to LeBron, and that's what I wanted to get into, because obviously when you're talking about Anthony Davis and he's talking about what the team needs, you know, some people can argue he's been contaminated by LeBron James. Which LeBron James are you listening to? Are you listening to the one that wanted a point guard and Cleveland went out and got Deron Williams after they had gotten Kyle Korver years ago?
Argument he's making is, are you listening to Anthony Davis or are you listening to LeBron James? And then he's kind of going through the list of times where LeBron tried influencing a team or doing something, and it didn't go the right way. Take a listen.
Are you listening to LeBron James that told him, I want Russell Westbrook after winning the championship in the bubble, even though you got bounced out of the playoffs the next year? And, you know, you lose a Kyle Kuzma, you lose a Alex Caruso, you lose all of these guys. You're bringing Russell Westbrook. Do you listen to that, LeBron? Or do you listen to LeBron that ultimately assisted in Russell Westbrook being out so you could get a D'Angelo Russell, Jared Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley, and those guys? I don't know, but I do know this. When Anthony Davis speaks, I'm going to listen to him because that brother is balling. You know how desperately you need him on the Lakers front line. If he says he can be better with additional big, you go out there and you find a different big, additional big. I don't give a damn if it's a garbage man. Go get.
Stop it right there. All right. A couple things here. The point that I was trying to make, and I was really, really trying to emphasize on Friday. Guys, this is not 2020. This is not 2022. This is not 2023, 2024. We're in 2025. And over time, I don't care what you've done in your career. I don't care how great of a person you were. I don't care how big your influence once was. At some point, you lose some of that strength. You lose some of you lose some of that power, I guess is the right way to put it. I think what Stephen A. was saying on Friday night was the exact point that I was making on Friday morning. I'm not telling you I don't care what LeBron James thinks. What I'm telling you is, if there's 10 people in the room and LeBron has something to say, I'm going to listen to him. But when Anthony Davis has something to say, I'm going to tell everybody, hey, keep it down here for a quick second. I might even tell a couple people, why don't a few of you guys get out of the room? I might even tell Anthony Davis, hey, do you got a quick second? Come into my office so we can have kind of a private conversation. When AD talks, I'm going to listen. And there were a lot of people out there, not a lot, but I think there was enough out there for me to just have this conversation. There were enough people out there that were making an argument that, you know what, why is AD whining? Why is AD trying to make an argument for a big? If you've watched Lakers basketball over these last couple of years, I go back to this. I go back to, it's not like the Lakers with AD at the 5 these last couple of years have gone on these, you know, have won an NBA championship or have truly competed for an NBA championship. I know they got to the Western Conference Finals, don't get me wrong, but going through Memphis either had injuries or didn't really have bigs to go up against AD, or they went up against the Golden State Warriors. I don't need to tell you guys the lack of size that Warriors team has. But the moment they faced Denver, where now all of a sudden it is Nikola Jokic and it is real size and it is somebody that, clearly is one of the elite in the NBA, that's it. The season was over. And you've had that the last two playoff matches. When AD talks, I'm listening. And I don't think AD's whining. I really don't think AD's whining. Take a listen here, because Bob Myers also chimes in on this. I want you guys to listen to what he says, and this will kind of lead me to Rob Pelinka.
Get him off the street and bring him on the roster. Big perk out of retirement. Do what you got to do.
No. Guys, it is significant that this is Anthony Davis saying this and not LeBron James, because this is someone in AD. He's at the peak of his powers, the prime of his career. So no one in LA is ignoring this. And this is all because he really wants to win a championship. He told me his motivation with LeBron James is to bring another championship in LA. They never had that parade in 2020. Right. He really wants one. That's where all of this stems from. So from an organizational perspective, the Lakers are going to be doing their due diligence, as Bob said. They have until February 6th, the NBA trade deadline. And Bob knows this. 2 very valuable trade assets. They have the 2029 first-round pick, 2031 first-round pick. They will see what they can get, but what difference maker is out there? That's what all parties are trying to figure out. And from my understanding, this is not about LeBron James and Anthony Davis mortgaging the Lakers' future, but they want to see activity that warrant championship aspirations. And I do think the Lakers intend to do that between now and the deadline.
And
I'm going to pause it here for a quick second because there's a point that Bob Myers is going to make that I'm going to eventually go to, and we'll get into that in just a second. Let me say this, okay? I don't think we're getting to February 6th without Pelinka making a deal. I really don't. I really, really don't. I mean, if I was a betting man and you told me, hey, let's go to Vegas and let's make a bet here, what are you willing to put on the table that Pelinka is going to make a deal or Pelinka is not going to make a deal? Too much pressure on him. Now, it's going to be his responsibility to make the right deal. It's going to be his responsibility to make sure that whatever deal that he makes sense for the Lakers in the present and the future, but that's his job. That's his job. And frankly, I don't think anybody wants to hear any excuses. I've said this before, where Pelinka did not help himself is coming out publicly after, the last year and a half, basically saying that, okay, we didn't make a deal. Don't worry about it. I got all these draft picks. I'm going to make a deal, guys. Everything's going to be fine. I mean, not exactly saying it like that. The under-promise, over-deliver. He overpromised and he's under-delivered. But he can still make up for any ground that he's lost over the next week and a half as I sit here. And, we talk about the NBA trade deadline coming up. All right, I want to play one more thing here. This is coming from Bob Myers. I know Perk was talking a little bit. Let me get to the end here. All right, let's take a quick listen. Here's Bob Myers.
just 20% of getting a deal is just one of the. He is. Of course, Rob Pelinka is trying to do a deal, right?
Is
Yes.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
Okay,
Now,
just ask.
but that's just 20% of getting a deal is just wanting to do a deal, getting a deal done. And then once you do that, you give up that pick we're talking about, that's it. There's no more offseason deal. You got one shot at this thing. So that's why now I think it's harder to do deals in the NBA than ever before.
They'll get over it.
Shams, last word on this.
All right, I'm going to stop right there. What Bob Myers is saying right there about, hey, once you make a deal, that's it. You can't make another deal. Well, we know that. Everybody's known that. That's no surprise or a shock. Bob Myers is speaking on this from a completely different perspective because he was running the Golden State Warriors. He won NBA championships. He was the president of basketball operations. You can't get, of all those people that were up there, obviously he's the one that's most credentialed to talk about a front office, and he's the one that could actually sit in Rob Pelinka's shoes. But I'm going to go back to something that I said before. If Rob wasn't promoting as much as he was about having the picks, I don't know if everybody was going to be, maybe they would have been down his throat about, well, then make a deal. You have the picks. He's the one that promoted. We got 2 first rounders. We got 3 first rounders come summer, whatever the case is. But I got confidence in this, that a deal will go down. I do have confidence that the Lakers and the front office will listen to what Anthony Davis's needs are. They're going to listen to Anthony Davis's needs more than LeBron at this point. At least they should, in my opinion. And I don't think that's really even much of a conversation. I think that's just how life goes when, it doesn't matter if you're at your job and, you reach a point where you were 40 years old and you were the best salesperson there. I'm sure the managers and the CEO was looking at you like, whatever the hell it is you need, we'll make it happen. And then 10 years later, you just aren't producing as much as you are. They're going to listen to you less. That's the name of the game, and that's how business is. But with that in mind, I don't really care, what Bob Myers said about you can't miss on this, because if you miss on this, you don't have it again in the summer. What's the summer going to be like for the Lakers if they still have these picks? What's the summer going to be like? Okay, so you still have the picks and you went out and you tried to draft a guy like Dalton Connect. God bless Dalton Connect. I hope Dalton Connect's a good player. I hope Dalton Connect is a player that we're looking at down the road and saying, oh my gosh, remember that start of the season that he had? What a stud this guy is right now. But the problem is Dalton Connect's not going to have an impact for you this year, and you're still trying to win this year. And, oh, by the way, you went and traded for Dorian Finney-Smith. So you clearly are not a seller at this point. You're a buyer. And I don't think any Laker fan would be happy. More importantly, I don't think Anthony Davis or some of these players would be happy if we got to February 6th and the deal didn't go down. Is it going to be tough? Is it going to be difficult? Is it going to be, really challenging to go win one of these trades? Sure. Are you going to probably have to overpay? Yes. But the Lakers are not getting to February 6th without a deal. I just don't believe that they're going to get to February 6th and the Lakers never made a deal. All right, if you enjoyed this clip and you want more, just subscribe to the channel. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. is the Sliwa Show. And then after every Lakers game, post-game show right here.